Absolutely. Now, Windrush shows us that ethnic minorities in Britain are treated differently by the institutions designed to protect and serve them. Here's dashcam footage uploaded to YouTube by a London DJ capturing the moment a police officer bluntly explains the nature of profiling.
This is racist. Predominantly, the criminal profile people are different from people. So, naturally, if you see a car full of black lads and they may be dressing gangster style and they're driving down there, they're getting stopped.
He was still cleared by the IPCC. They said that he wasn't being intentionally discriminatory. What does that even mean? Like, being able to differentiate? I know, it's just insane. And the other thing that's really interesting is he said something about gangster clothing, right? Yeah. And the problem is that something becomes gangster as soon as it's on a black person immediately, right? The guy was in a bubble hat. Doesn't get less gangster. My mom's a gangster then.
I mean, I think the last time I got pulled over was about 6 months ago. And the police said, you know, gang members drive cars like this. And I was like, well, clearly it's not the car, you know, because company directors also drive cars like this.
And just those statistics on stop and search, we know that in Britain, black people are 8 times more likely to be stopped than a white person, and other ethnic minorities are 4 times more likely than a white person to be stopped and searched.
But the thing is, a lot of black people now believe this stuff, this narrative, and that shows that if you repeat something enough, you can convince anybody. And what we find when we bother to look, you know, the people who promote the kind of black-on-black violence narrative never have to explain why black Premier League footballers don't kill anyone, why black doctors don't kill anyone, why black university graduates hardly kill anyone, why old black people hardly kill anyone. They don't have to explain, in fact, why violent crime among black communities is concentrated in precisely the same demographic as it's concentrated among mine and your Glaswegian cousins. And so by obscuring the problem, pretending, you know, it's excessive melanin syndrome, we end up with a ridiculous situation now.
Statistically, when you control for all of those other factors, like wealth, like educational attainment, they find that race and ethnicity is completely irrelevant. Yeah. And it's the oldest statistical rule, right? Correlation is not causation. Like, just because black individuals might be more likely to commit crimes, it is not because of their blackness, it's because of these other intervening variables.
What's been characterised as a rise in violent crime has produced various different explanations. Here's David Lammy passionately explaining to the BBC what he believes could be the problem.
It feels like neighbourhood policing has vanished. It's not around you. We haven't seen a police while I've been here, and I've been here for a little while now.
To be fair, I think the cop's just there because he's seen a black bloke with a camera.
So the decline in policing has happened at the same time that there has been this increase, but we've also seen that in lots of forces where there's been a decline in policing, there hasn't necessarily been a subsequent rise in crime. So it's not just that isn't the only explanation.
Well, there must be a rise in inequality as well.
Exactly. Funds have been cut to all kinds of programmes that have been designed to try and prevent this kind of violence. Like, that is obviously a massively contributing factor too.
But something that never comes up here, I mean, across the last generation, the British prison population has grown by 82%. We have by far the largest prison population in the whole of Western Europe. And guess what? Roll the drums, everyone. If your parents are in prison, you're more likely to go to prison.
Yeah, so gang culture affects the whole of the UK. Here's an eye-opening BBC interview with 2 locals explaining the complex nature of gang culture in Glasgow.
Matthew McAllister, 16, and Dennis Scott, 19, live in Glasgow's East End. They also know all about the gangs.
Dame Toy, Bow Toy, Provi, Drummy, Agro, Skinheads, Torn.
It's Torn and Skinheads that hate each other the most. Some of them can get slashed, some can get stabbed, or else you can get chopped with a sword. Somebody shouting at the bus, yeah, Fanny.
Did we really need subtitles there? I just understood that. Someone shouting Fanny from a bus is the most Glaswegian thing. Swearing is a different thing in Scotland. In Scotland, the word fucking is just a warning that a noun is on its way. But there's a big culture there of, like, you know, there's all different kinds of blades. There's steakies. There's, like, one time I was going in to do a gig and Rangers were, like, 1 up, I think in Europe. And I did the gig and I came out and I saw a guy shouting at another guy, "Do you want me to go and get a sword?" And I knew from that they'd conceded a late equaliser.
I think this piece gets to the heart of the problem, though. The kind of black-on-black London-centric narrative demonising all black people for crimes that they have no part in. But it actually ignores working-class white kids in places like that up and down the country. So if I were one of those kids or a white kid living in Croxteth, I'd be like, how come the whole country only cares about black boys in London when the same stuff is happening in my neighbourhood? So it's another great way of the state and the right-wing press playing class against race.
Well, some of those names that he mentions there, Toy and stuff like that, they're like ancient gang names in Scotland. You know?
The City of Gangs by Andrew Davies. It traces the gangs in Glasgow over 150 years. And what's revealing is, obviously, not only is the whiteness of the young men not offered as an explanatory factor, it's not even mentioned at all, because it's irrelevant.
How long is that Andrew Davies book? Because the last time you were here, you recommended The Making of the English Working Class, and that was like Bible thickness.
Yes. I didn't even remember doing that.
I just finished it. Are there any magazines you like?
It's been fascinating. Thanks very much. Akala.
Thank you. Thank you.
Motion: Donald Trump will be the world's first crowd-funded assassination. Donald Trump, an anthropomorphized kneecap peeking out from under a marmalade croupier's visor, with the diet of a pub bin, more personal issues than Batman, and the muscle tone of a coma patient. I suppose the only thing that has stopped him from being assassinated is the suspicion that he could take several bullets to the head and keep talking. I often wonder how he has sex, because clearly Melania doesn't touch him. So, like, what happens? I reckon once a day they send in a guy whose job it is to collect sperm from a panda, and he tricks him into mounting a set of fiberglass buttocks covered in his daughter's perfume. Joining us to discuss all things Trump, please welcome comedian Ahir Shah. Welcome aboard, Ahir.
Thank you for having me.
Are you following Trump and his madness?
Upsettingly, yes. I managed to avoid him for quite a while. Like, I used to have direct alerts on my phone every time he tweeted, and then after about 3 days realised that that was the least productive form of self-harm I've ever engaged in. It's just weird having, like, a computer in your pocket that tells you every time there's a catastrophe you can do nothing to stop or help.
And does he worry you?
No, obviously it worries me. We're all going to die, man.
Do you really think we're going to die?
Between the threat of nuclear annihilation, climate change, and antibiotic-resistant microbes and everything, it's like we're juggling apocalypses. And I do wonder how long you can keep doing that before you have to go, look, Mum, no hands.
The trouble with this whole having him assassinated, or if he was assassinated, is that he would be remembered as a martyr and a hero.
Oh.
That's the flaw in this plan.
They'd make a statue.
Of course.
And then he'd have a six-pack and an 11-inch cock.
Yeah, I worry that if you were to crowdfund this, there would be an alternative crowdfunding campaign, which is to protect him, which could theoretically raise just as much money. The thing that is actually remarkable is that over the past year, his popularity really hasn't changed that much. And that's because he's kind of delivering a lot of the things that he pledged he would do during the campaigns.
Now, no one could deny that Trump is a master at creating distractions that subvert even the most basic public engagements. Here he is, turning traditional news coverage on its head with this uniquely staged address.
You see what's happening, and you see what's happening with funding. The funding of our military was so important, and so many military people are with us today. So just think of $700 billion, because that's all going into our military this year. And now I'm going to come down, and we're going to watch this roll.
I love that they could only give the rabbit one expression no matter what Trump said, and they went with what the fuck.
This is our fault. Because as entertainers, we haven't entertained the people enough, so they're looking for entertainment from politicians.
Yeah. I hear you.
And you want people doing what their vocation is. Politicians need to be doing politics. You don't want crossover, like when my obstetrician told me he was also a DJ.
I also think it's partly the fault of journalists because we covered him so much during the election, which is exactly what he wanted. Almost 15,000 headlines were written about him during the campaign, and Clinton got half of that.
He's the thing that everyone wants to click on, he's the thing that everyone wants to watch, and that is what drives the profits and revenue for the media in its myriad dying forms.
You say, I don't want to hear about it, or I want to hear positive news stories, but you click on, did she look fat in that?
Maybe we need to create articles that are, does the Syrian child dying look fat in this?
Yeah.
This is the kind of sick humour we can't tolerate. Trump may love the attention, but he's often just disguising the fact that he doesn't really know what he's meant to be doing, as we can see here.
You know, this was going to be my remarks. It would have taken about 2 minutes, but that would have been a little boring. Now I'm reading off the first paragraph. I said, this is boring. Come on, we have to say, tell it like it is, that we have to get Republicans in office. And I think with that, maybe Shelley, I'll let you start off, and you can we can go around, and I'd like to have Jim say a few words, and we'll go around the horn.
I have literally no idea what he had to say.
Shelley, Jim, you say something, you haven't thrown your notes away.
He's become perfect for the world that we live in through the inventive medium of losing his fucking mind. Earlier this afternoon, I got a text on a group WhatsApp. A friend said, surely this is the thing that's going to get him. And another friend said, yeah, this must be. I was like, oh, are you talking about the Saudi thing and the Gulf states and the funding? And the second person said, oh no, I was talking about the investigation into his political enemies. And the original guy said, oh no, I was talking about the money from the Ukrainian politician that went to his lawyer and fixer. And I'm like, that's 3 things this afternoon.
He's trying to dismantle every single thing Obama did. Remember, he had the mic drop, and Trump's like, I'll show him. Throw an A4 piece of paper. Not as good.
But you do get, like, you know, everything that Trump has accused Obama of doing, it ends up that Trump actually does it. Basically, my theory is that this all ends when we discover that Donald Trump was born in Kenya.
Golf is a good example of that. So when Obama was in office, he was criticising him, saying he's playing too much golf. And during his first 99 days in office, Trump played 19 days of golf, and Obama played 1.
He probably has a bunch of people who just tell him he got a hole-in-one. He probably doesn't even use a club. Trump's health has been the subject of much debate, with his love of burgers, KFC and Diet Coke leading many to wonder how he's even alive. Trump's personal doctor, Harold Bornstein, that's this guy. Bornstein recently revealed that he didn't compose a 2015 letter declaring the then presidential candidate's health as astonishingly excellent, and that Trump was unequivocally the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency.
I mean, when you consider someone like Theodore Roosevelt, for example, when he was running for president for the Progressive Party, at the beginning of a speech, he was shot in the chest, said, I don't know if you know this, but I've just been shot, and it takes more than that to kill a bull moose, and then continued speaking for 84 minutes before seeking medical assistance. I think he's probably healthier than Trump.
Trump even acts weirdly around the many world leaders he's forced to meet. Last month, Trump met with President Macron. Having previously been given the cold shoulder by the French leader, Trump couldn't resist showing what great pals they are now.
We do have a very special relationship. In fact, I'll get that little piece of dandruff. We have to make him perfect. He is perfect. So it is really great to be with you, and you are a special friend. Thank you.
Thank you. Merci beaucoup.
It's an honor to call you my friend. Thank you.
I just love that what people worried about after he got elected was that he would be normalised. You know, this is never getting normal. He's got the president of France in a fucking headlock. Like, world leaders before they come there must have to, like, role play with clowns.
Watching the clip, and I don't really understand how men work But is that
It's really the same.
No, because women don't have a hierarchical.
Oh, I see. No, it is the thing.
an
You're absolutely right. Because two equals shake hands.
Hey.
Yeah, and then men who are trying to be powerful, like, yeah, and then I put my hand on you, like, I'm into no, because I'm yes, hi everyone.
She's gonna be great on the show. She's gonna be the best.
Dandruff.
I think when he comes over, what we should do is, in his honour, just relax our gun laws for 24 hours. Just go, yeah, Don, there's no gun laws, just for you, and we're giving you a magnetic hat.
But Trump will not be assassinated. It would be very difficult. He's not smart enough to go to the theater. And also, Democrats would never assassinate him because then they'll have to admit that guns can be useful.
At this point, if a crazy person manages to infiltrate and kill the president, who replaces him? The world doesn't suddenly get better. He's not really one man. It's a group of people and a system, and it will be replaced by something maybe worse.
And that group of people are the ones who will crowdfund.
So, in conclusion, there's every chance that Americans elected Donald Trump because subconsciously they all want to die. Trump himself is hovering in perfect balance on the edge of life and death. His blood sugar is so high, Jamie Oliver has called for it to be taxed. But his blood pressure is perfectly normal for an orgasming walrus. Every time he wants an erection, he has to wait until the pressure from his lung cancer forces the cholesterol plug from his heart to his penis. He's the first person in history to have cured dementia with syphilis. And yet he refuses to die. In the same way, he will refuse to allow the Americans who voted for him the oblivion they subconsciously desire. They're in purgatory, like someone who decides to end it all by jumping in front of the Eurostar and ends up paralysed in Ashford, Kent. Well, that's the end of the show. Thanks to my guests, Sarah Pascoe, Catherine Ryan, Mona Chalabi, Akala, and Ahir Shah.